Spoilers.
Spoilers. Spoilers! Spoiler warning. Okay. This video is just about spoiler warnings. It's not really involving spoilers. It is going to be about a spoiler, but you know, the messy mess that's behind it. The internet, don't we all just love it? It's what allows me to record these video messages like a one-way monologue, pretending it's a dialogue, and it allows you to leave comments down below calling me a pretty little bitch. Spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. It's like, where does the word even come from? It's like, it spoils, obviously, but what makes it a spoiler? Like, is it on the side of the car? I don't know. Spoilers have been a bit of a hot button issue recently, I seem to gather. Social media has got a lot to do with that. Everybody wants those little clicks. Everybody wants to be the first to be noticed, like me, look at me, I knew the thing. And this gets you traffic, this gets you retweets, this gets you likes. All those little things, the high score in video game social media world. But are we now just completely driven by spoilers? Love him or hate him, J.J. Abrams operates on a concept he calls the mystery box. He tries to keep every big twist of a movie away from screenings, away from trailers. People don't get to talk about them. And yeah, I have to say, for his films, those have been rather effective. Alfred Hitchcock used to do this back in the day as well. If you kids don't know who Alfred Hitchcock is, big time director earlier on in the century, last century. He actually went to cinemas because we had no internet back then. And he told people not to give away the conclusion of his movie Psycho. But nowadays, try watching Game of Thrones 10 minutes late. Try doing it on, like, what's it called, HBO Go, like you catch up on the last episode. Every single fucking parody account of Game of Thrones, and I fucking hate those parody accounts. Every single last one of them, the Joffreys, the Jon Snows, the undead Ned Starks. I mean, there's probably an undead Ned Stark. It wouldn't fucking surprise me one bit. They have already taken screen caps, or worse yet, they've taken these screen caps, not themselves, but away from people who made the original joke, because make no mistake, most of these shitty parody accounts are actually just plain joke thieves. And yes, I am aware I quite do that sometimes as well, but it's not my entire bread and butter. These people have like thousands upon thousands of followers just by taking other people's remarks, like, ha ha ha, who did this? I'm going off on a tangent, never mind. Spoilers, fuck me. You can't go on social media like at all. I see Game of Thrones on a Monday, that's when the stuff airs here for me. I live in another continent, I am not an American, if you couldn't have told by the accent. Mondays, I have to purposely avoid people retweeting jokes. I have unfollowed some people I used to like. These were content producers of some sorts. I've got friends. I really think they're funny, but every single one of them have got their retweets set off. Facebook is a no-go zone. Tumblr, don't even fucking think about it. You can hardly, you know... What makes it okay? There has become a sort of entitlement. Like, I've seen a movie reviewer called Scott Weinberg. I'll put a link down below. Excellent guy, funny man, has some good insights on films. I don't agree everything he says, but you know, he's a good part. He's like, it's always good to have a reviewer who has, or a critic in this case, who has a different take on things than you do. So you might not see everything like as you would see the second time around. So Scott Weinberg, he actually has a severe dislike of people tweeting spoilers on the biggest TV shows as well. and he got so much slack for it. People were calling him entitled, and it's like, but you can't be considerate towards other people who might not have all the free time to immediately sit down as soon as the thing comes on TV. My work schedule is rather hectic. If you hadn't noticed, I haven't actually uploaded anything in 2 weeks because, well, family things and onion rings. Let's give it with that. So, why do people think they are entitled to, you know, it's part of the experience, but surely it would be better to put your phone down and experience the TV as it goes along. Oh, but one of them said that's what you got a second and a third rewatch for. Right. So that's just TV shows. Movies. Wow. Like I said, J.J. Abrams and the Mystery Box. That was the first time I've ever seen the internet community as a whole take a break from saying who the big death in the film was, because it's Star Wars. Because The Force Awakens, it borrowed or overlaid its own plot across. Because The Force Awakens, it overlaid its own plot from the original trilogy. It just condensed it within a new film so that we now have a setup for the sequels. So it had a main character death in it, and it's the first time I actually seen people be wary. But it's, like I said, it's the first time. But before that, it was within like a day of release, you'd have websites with the spoilers putting up articles. Nowadays it seems to have decreased a little bit, like with, oh, you know whose death in Star Wars The Force Awakens, instead of just blatantly saying it. Now, recently, Captain America Civil War came out in Europe a week before it came out in the United States, and then we had a lot of messages of people going like, oh, don't spoil the movie before it comes across here. Well, no such true God was around before these big films started coming across over here. It's like there's a huge part of the world that still thinks we're a little bit America-centric. Just a little bit. But now we're getting to the actual point. I may have to talk about the biggest spoiler. This is regarding DC Comics. DC Comics has gone full reboot again, which they seem to do every 10 years or so, whenever they decide like, oh, well, we wrote ourselves into a corner, everything's shit. So this time around they're letting Jeff Johns, not the biggest Jeff Johns fan of his most recent work, but you know, his earlier stuff I really did enjoy. So Jeff Johns gets to helm the new universe reset button. And this, I am going to give you a spoiler warning. If you are a comic book reader and you don't want to know what's going to happen in Rebirth, click away now. You've probably seen it already. Right, so, if you're still here, Doc Manhattan of The Watchmen is the cause of the current universe reset. And this information had been leaked through people who had advanced reviewing copies. But instead of one of those people, it had been an anonymous person who got a hold of it, posted it to Reddit, and then a website called Bleeding Cool, which I don't frequent, posted everything online. So you basically had gotten the twist of the plot already given away before the book is even out yet. And this website is defending its right to do as such, because they were not bound by contracts of the review copies because they hadn't received one. They were just going by some guy on Reddit. How is that right? How can you just get away with that? Mind you, as a result, all the other websites that did have review copies got to publish their material as well, because that's apparently how that works. He's got no love for these people. And I can completely see where he's coming from, because all Bleeding Cool did, it wasn't about, you know, the story. It was about getting them clicks. And in essence, they have... I wasn't going to buy the book. I haven't been interested in DC Comics for a long time now. Most big titles. I've dabbled in some Gail Simone books, because Gail always managed to write some interesting stories. So Bleeding Cool has basically, I don't want to say ruined, but they've like, it's like they've gone to everybody who stood in line for The Sixth Sense when that came out and went like, oh, Bruce Willis is a ghost. They've taken the oomph away from the story. At least the original bit. Obviously it's not the climax, but... And they think they have the right to. Why? Spoilers are always difficult. I mean, there's people complaining about the endings of old shows that are no longer on TV. It's like, okay. But at what point can you talk about them? That's the fine line. I don't think there are any set rules about that. But if something is, you know, out within a week, or worse yet, isn't even been published yet, then you can't even see the line. The line is a dot off far in the distance. So basically, Bleeding Cool, website I don't frequent, you guys are a bunch of dicks. A bag of dicks. A wall of dicks. I'm saying, yeah, dicks. Right, if you think I'm a prissy little bitch, call me names. Don't follow me on social media. I've got Facebook, I've got Twitter, and I've got Tumblr. All I do is post horrible jokes. You're not interested in any of those. Well, that's it. Let me know what you think. Let me know how much you hate me. We'll see what we can do. Your thoughts are important to us. Oh, by the way, next week I'm going to talk about sleep.
Naughty America.
Shutdown initiated.